Hey, this is Josey Scott from Josey Scott Saliva, and you're listening to the Sports Circus with Sal Tuzzolino.
Stretch! You can put it on the board! Yes!
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP TV. Today's show is brought to you by UppercutChops.com. Check out their tasty selection of all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Angus and Wagyu steaks and chops. Wait till you try their best-in-class New York steaks, the filet mignons, and of course, those massive cowboy cut and tomahawk cut ribeyes, all Prime Wagyu. Not choice, Prime Wagyu. Check them out at UppercutChops.com. That's UppercutChops.com. Or give them a call, find out what's for dinner, 702-799-9935, 702-799-9935 for UppercutChops.com. All right, a big welcome in to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates, and all of our independents from coast to coast, from Honolulu all the way down to Southwest Florida. Whole bunch of points in between. Also, Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Time Warner, and WOW Cable Television and Hotel TV in over 500,000 rooms from coast to coast, closer to 600,000, gaining over 4 million impressions per hour. We're here with a very special guest. In fact, let's let him introduce himself.
What's up? This is Josey Scott from Josey Scott Saliva. What's going on, Salvatore?
All right. Nice round of applause. Yes! We got Mr. Click, Click, Boom in the house. All right. Thanks for joining us. All right.
Man, I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here with you.
We're glad to have you here because, we do sports shows and we do entertainment, whether it's television, whether it's film, whether it's music. We have a lot of music shows. And this is sort of a weird space for the circus because we started out as just a talk radio sports show. But it has evolved over the years and years and years. And the cool thing is I think about the people that I know in the music business. And I like to bring them in here and talk about the different aspects of what they do. And I have to ask you a couple of questions just because I think about big venues, big stadiums, right? Baseball stadiums, football stadiums, whatever the heck it is. I don't care. And then you contrast it to the smaller rooms. Talk to me about the difference in what you like and or potentially dislike about both.
Man, I love both because, I think both have their pros and their cons like anything. But I love, of course, the intimacy of a smaller room. You get to be up close and personal with the fans, and you get to do a more inclusive meet and greet. And I'll stay there and I'll meet and greet with every person, and I'll sign and take pictures as long as they will have me. And on that level, it's a lot more personal, to me and to the fans of this wonderful music. And the big places I love too, because it's obviously a dream come true to get to play a big place and play in front of thousands of people. It's a little less up close and personal, but you get to reach a wider, more vast audience, and it's really loud, and I love that. And it's just it's just a lot more fun. Sometimes you get to run back and forth on a bigger stage, and you get to have pyro, and you get to have a few things that you wouldn't get to have in a smaller room. So from a circus, if you will, no pun intended, aspect. It's more of a three-ring circus in the bigger venues. But I love playing the smaller venues too, because it's right up in your face and it's a lot more personal.
Okay, so when you're playing the smaller venues, do you pick somebody out in the crowd? Do you look them? Do you eyeball them? Do you lock eyes with them and then move to the next one? I've done a lot of public speaking, and I do a lot of that kind of thing when I'm talking to people in a crowd, in a smaller crowd. But of course, on a big stage, it's almost impossible to do it. Then I would imagine you just pick out a spot somewhere in the distance and kind of look at it. But when you're playing to the small crowd in the small venue, of course, you've had your share of those here in Las Vegas, of course, and in LA and around the country. It doesn't matter. You play everything. But the reality is, when you're playing the small venue, the crowd not only feels you, right? Because you grab that crowd and you take the crowd in. But the bigger question is, do you lock on with somebody and say, you know what? They're feeling my vibe and I'm digging it and I want to sing to them.
Absolutely. I used to pick out a person when I was younger, and when I first got started, because I would just be so catatonically nervous that I would pick out a person in the audience and I would sing to that person, somebody that felt safe or that was a little less angry than the next person or whatever. But now I try to take the audience with me live, and I try to stay with every person. I try to lock eyes with every person there. I try to share that exchange of energy, because music is almost like it's almost sexual in nature, and it's a very spiritual thing that you exchange with these other human beings in the audience, and I just wouldn't take anything for it in the world. It's such a blessing and a privilege to get to do music and get to play music for people. And the most popular thing I hear is people will come up and say, man, your music has really gotten me through some tough times in my life. And music is medicine to me, man. And thank God it's medicine to them too.
Well, what's interesting about your music is that you have the real heavy stuff, but you also, oh, by the way, this guy can actually sing, right? And there's a big difference. A lot of guys will just, and women, they'll just yell into a microphone. That's not singing. So this guy has strength, but he also has the ability to hold a note. This guy knows music. He's not just some knucklehead out there screaming into a mic, running back and forth on a stage. And that's the part that I like. So we go back to Hero, right? Out of all your music that you've made, it's the one that I like the most. And there's some real skill involved. Buddy, hey, listen, man, there is some real skill involved in playing. Now, I play guitar terribly. I ruin everyone's music. I just turn the gain up as loud as I can, right? And then, everyone laughs at me. But the reality is, look, I don't have the ability to walk and chew gum with a guitar. I just can't. Mm-hmm. Right? Some people have it, some people don't. Some people can sing a cappella, right? And some people can't. They're studio great, but they're terrible live. You happen to be a very interesting mix of somebody that can do it on both ends of that spectrum. Talk a little bit about your experience in the studio versus a live show.
Great question. I think you're probably being a little hard on yourself. I bet you're better at playing guitar than you're letting on. I love to play music live, and I love recording. I love getting in the studio and being creative, and I love songwriting, but I've been really fortunate and blessed to have a dad who was a musician. He was a country gospel guy when I was a kid, and I watched him play some decent-sized venues. He was playing theaters with a group called the Payson Family when I was younger, and was just an incredible musician in his own right. And he taught me everything I know about music. He taught me one of the things that I still carry with me to this day is there's two kinds of music: good music and bad music. And he taught me everything I know about singing. He taught me how to play drums. He taught me how to play the guitar. And I'm actually left-handed, and we only had one guitar, and he was right-handed. So he would chord the guitar right-handed, and then he would turn it upside down for me. So I actually play upside down and backwards, like Hendrix. So I'm nowhere near the talent of Hendrix, but I can play good enough to write songs. And but I love being in the studio, and I love playing live, man. I love it all. I'm just an entertainer, man. I love to write songs and entertain people.
It's hard enough to play something, period, let alone play upside down. Look, I'm left-handed, but I learned how to play right-handed, and I play right-handed, and I'm really good up on the neck, right? But I can't alternate pick so well with my offhand. I feel like I feel like I have a problem, and I don't know what it is, but I'm not that coordinated. I have to look, and then I'm picking up off everything instead of a nice simple move. I can't do that. It's just I'm not wired that way for whatever reason. Hey, listen, folks, we're going to be back here with Josey Scott of Josey Scott's Saliva, and great music up and down the board. And here's a little taste of it in case you've been living under a rock. We're going to be back here in just a few minutes on the Sports Circus. Don't go anywhere.
I was up in my room, I let the stereo blaze on Saturdays when kids go out and play. I was up in my room, I let the stereo
time nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC Sports affiliates across North America, with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935. Or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. That's 800-932-5517.
You're listening to the Sports Circus, and I'm Mike Golick.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
stand here and wait. I'll hold on to
Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the MTV mobile studio, AAMP TV. And that music you're listening to just happens to be a part of this wonderful guest background. In fact, let's let him tell you all about it. Reintroduce yourself and tell everybody what they're listening to.
This is Josey Scott from Josey Scott's Saliva, and that song is called Hero, and it's from the 2003 version of Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, and I cut that song with Chad Kroeger, the lead singer of Nickelback.
You know, of course, a nice round of applause for that. Here's something interesting. The first Spider-Man movie with Tobey and that whole cast, the first one of the very successful films, right? That came out on our birthday. We share the same birthday of May 3rd, huh?
No way.
Yes, we do.
Wow. We share a birthday with Bing Crosby.
I know that. So there's at least a couple of great people in this. I just happen to be the guy carrying everybody's bags, if you know what I mean. But the good news is I remember that when it came out because it was something to do on my birthday, 100 years ago. But what an impactful song. Josey, that is an incredible song. Like I said before, this is my favorite out of anything that you've participated with, written, sang, whatever. This, in my opinion, is clearly head and shoulders above everything else because it really shows your range of what you're capable of. A, you're playing the guitar. B, you're singing strong, but you've got some vibrato, you're doing all the right stuff that people today just don't do.
Yeah. Man, it's for me, it was all about growing up in Memphis, Tennessee, and having so many wonderful musical influences from so many different directions. All that Stax stuff, all the blues records. I grew up on Beale Street, listening to the amazing bluesmen like Albert King and B.B. King and Blind Mississippi Morris, and just this rich, just this rich history of music that comes from Memphis, Tennessee. And the crown in our jewel, Elvis Presley, me and my wife were married at Graceland back in 2004. And
Wait, we should have had the applause. Say when you did the year, we should have had the applause going, right? No, that's all right, man. Yeah, I mean, how could you mention Memphis without Elvis? I listen to Elvis radio in my car on Sirius XM. No plug for Sirius. I just like Elvis radio. It is what it is. Every time I'm in my car, Elvis is on.
I love Elvis Presley, man. I don't think there's ever been such a charismatic and amazing and just genuine, big-hearted, good man that was such a great entertainer and such a gift to the world, man.
Well, look at his roots, right, in gospel. I mean, he just... Absolutely. Right, so he's a high-value guy, first of all, but you think about his ability to sing, and singing as you're growing up, you have to have the ability to sing a cappella, right? There's no distorted guitars going on in the background. Of course, the crazy leg movements are another thing. I wonder, do you do any of those crazy leg movements on stage as well, like Elvis?
I got some crazy movements that I do, but not necessarily the leg stuff, but. Another thing that Elvis got all those great moves from church. Like you said, it was from going to church and seeing people, get full of the Spirit and move around and everything. That's where he got all his moves from. And he used to, he would go to church with his mom across town, and then he would run to the other side of town and go to the African American churches and listen to those great singers. And he knew good music when he heard it. And like I said, growing up in Memphis, there's just such a deep, rich history of, everything from the Memphis Horns to the Box Tops to Justin Timberlake. I mean, there's just all kinds of great musicians. Aretha Franklin, Tina Turner. I mean, the list just goes on and on.
Right. And just like you have Motown, the same idea, right? You have Memphis has its own everything in Memphis. It's crazy. And you know what else they have there? They have the Super Bowl of Swine. Now tell me how many times you've been to the Super Bowl of Swine. Folks, in case you don't know, it's the biggest barbecue in the world. Come on, man.
It's also on our birthday, too. It's called Memphis in May.
Yes.
And we call it Memphis in Mud because it always rains every single time on my birthday in Memphis. But that's that it is the Super Bowl of Swine, and one of the best barbecue festivals that you will ever go to in your life. And there's that good Memphis molasses-based barbecue sauce.
You're killing me.
And if you ever are traveling around in the South and you want to try some amazing barbecue, man, North Mississippi and West Tennessee are just sick to death with amazing barbecue. And they have this huge the Memphis Music Festival, Beale Street Music Festival during that time too. And I've been playing there since I was a young buck. I think since I was 19 or 20, I've been playing on the smaller stages, and then as we got bigger and sold a few more records, we got to move up to the what we call the Budweiser stage.
Right.
And I got to play, in front of like 60,000 people, and got to, hang out and show my family what I could do on stage. I didn't get to play for my family much unless I was in Memphis. So,
well, it's interesting that you talk about the film fest or the music festivals. By the way, I want to ask you, because we have just a couple of minutes left in the segment. You want to stick around with it for another segment with me? Can you do it?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. So I can get into this. So the second biggest barbecue in the world happens to be in Chicagoland, and that's called the Rib Fest, right? And I don't know whether you've ever played there, but I'm going to get to this in a minute. There's a really funny story about it. Maybe I'll tell it in between break when we're on break in just a couple minutes. But the second biggest barbecue in the world is the Rib Fest. Now, that happens right around the 4th of July every year. And now at the same time that the Rib Fest is going, another big festival, music festival you're familiar with, because actually I saw you there 13 years ago, and that's the Summerfest up in Milwaukee, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's 700 bands in 10 days. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. But back to this Rib Fest thing. And here's an interesting thing. So one time, the people who put this thing on, it's in suburban Chicago, they said to Sammy Hagar, they said, "Hey, Sammy, we want you to play this food festival thing." He's like, "Well, what the hell is this thing?" And I'll never forget this, because I knew somebody tied to the back end of this, right? And he said, "Well, what is this food festival thing?" They said, "Well, they call it the Rib Fest." He goes, "What am I going to go out in the middle of nowhere into some cornfields and play, to these country people, whatever the hell?" He had no idea, right? So he agreed to it, right? They pulled his bus up to the back of the venue, and you don't know until you're in there. He gets out on the stage, and there was a sea of humanity. There was 250,000 people right in front of that stage, looking at that stage. And he walked out, he dropped the mic, picked it back up, folks. I had no idea what this was, and I have to apologize. And it was crazy. He played a whole set of everything, and it was just a magical moment for him. And I'll tell you what, folks, we're going to continue on with this in just a few minutes with Josey Scott of Josey Scott Saliva in just a few minutes here at the Circus. Lots more to come. Don't go anywhere.
Click, click, boom, I'm coming down on the step
on break. I don't give a damn.
Hey everybody, this is Barry Katz from the Industry Standard Podcast, and you're listening to the Sports Circus with Sal Tuzzolino.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV mobile studio. AAMP TV stands for All Ages Media Programming Television, in case you're keeping score. This segment brought to you by our friends over at, maybe that would be the record store. Maybe that would be a download place. I don't know, but it's anybody that's going to promote Josey Scott and Josey Scott Saliva. And here to tell you all about Josey Scott Saliva is Josey Scott.
What's up? This is Josey Scott from Josey Scott Saliva. How you doing, Sal?
Tell everybody about where they can find your music.
You can find my music on Spotify, on YouTube. You can find it on Apple Music. You can find it on all of your streaming services.
And, by the way, folks, in case you're looking to see Josey Scott and Josey Scott Saliva, check out his website because he's touring everywhere. Every place that matters, that's where you can find him. Anybody that wants to see him, check out the website. Josey, what is the website?
The website is joseyscottrocks.com. And I have the addresses to all my socials on there, to my Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and all that good stuff.
All right.
Right there on the old website, joseyscottrocks.com.
That's good stuff, folks. Make sure you pick up the merch. Do you have T-shirts, hats? Do you have stuff that people like us, the little people, can have?
I'm getting the merch stuff is being set up as we speak, and I'm going to have shirts and merch at the shows at the Whiskey in Los Angeles and at Vamped in Vegas, about a mile from his house.
That's right down the street from my house. So guess what? I don't really drink, so it's not an issue for me, but I could actually, if I could walk there, I could stagger back, whatever. For all you people here in Las Vegas, which happens to be the drunk driving capital of the world, don't drink and drive. Get yourself a ride, do something, support the local cab company. Not those rideshare companies. How they make enough money. Those people working part-time doing that stuff. The cab companies, my old man was a cab driver after he was driving a truck, right? And so these are regular working people. So support your local cab company. Call a cab if you're a little bit tipsy or whatever, but get out and go see Josey Scott and Josey Scott Saliva, because this guy is going to bring the damn house down, because that's what he does. It don't matter whether it's the big venue or the little one. He will do it. Make sure you see him. Yes! All right, so see, you got me fired up now. I'm thinking about food, right? Food, drink, whatever. So I understand that you like to cook a little bit.
I do, man. I love the kitchen. I love, me and my wife love to cook together. It's one of our love languages is acts of service, and to be able to prepare food for each other. And yeah, we love to cook together. She's taught me a lot about cooking. I can make 3 or 4 things pretty well. There's 2 things that I can really knock out of the park, but my wife is just absolute culinary genius.
Really?
She is a beast in the kitchen. Yes.
All right. So next time I'm in the area, I'm going to knock on your door and say, what do you got cooking? I can smell something down the road. What do you got?
Well, man, if you're lucky enough to get my wife to cook for you, and we would love to cook for you, by the way, Sal.
I'm going to hold you to that.
She's an amazing cook. She made meatball subs tonight, and they were some of the best meatball subs I've ever had in my life.
All right, now you're singing to me. I like it. And you're not even singing to me. You know, if you wanted to, of course, we have an open floor. This is an open venue. If you want to do a little a cappella, you want to do one of your songs, whatever, you could do whatever you want to, because this is your show, young man. And I can say that because I'm older than you, even though we have the same birthday, if you know what I mean.
There's no way you're older than me.
I am. I got you by 5 years.
Oh, wow. So you were born in the 60s.
You got that right. We're not saying the years, but yeah. I got you by 5 years. Imagine that.
Nice.
Yeah, you know what? The only difference is I haven't. If I stayed clean or shaved, I'd look a lot younger. Otherwise, the gray. I've got a head full of gray. Whatever. I mean, look at this. Look at this mess. Come on, man. I got a head full of gray. And that's the Memphis Redbirds hat. In case you're just tuning in, by the way, that would be minor league baseball for Memphis, for the St. Louis Cardinals, right? And here's an interesting fact.
Yeah.
So the radio station that broadcasts the Memphis Redbirds is WHBQ, and that's Elvis's first station, as you're probably well aware of. And that's my first station I was on outside of fabulous Las Vegas.
Wow.
I was carried on Saturday mornings on WHBQ. How do you like that?
That is so dope. Do you know who else? What other famous DJ started out at WHBQ?
Rick Dees.
Yeah, he did the song Disco Duck back in the 70s.
Yep. See, the worst thing is
I'm dating myself.
I know. We're old enough to remember that. I mean, it's just kind of crazy to imagine. That's all right. Okay, but think about all the food and think about how we've transformed our bodies. Both of us have gone through big transformations. You 3 times what I've done. Talk a little bit about that and how it makes you feel and how it makes you feel.
Man, you know, it's been one of the greatest gifts that I've ever given to myself is, you know, self-care. And like I was telling you earlier, Taylor Hawkins is one of my favorite musicians of all time, man. He's an amazing drummer and amazing songwriter and just an unbelievable musician, an unbelievable human being. And before he died, he said, when I was thinking about getting back into music and, I was sort of still on the fence about whether I could do this again, I heard him say in an interview one time, he said, the entertainment industry, especially the music industry, and especially rock and roll, is an athletic sport. It's an athletic game. And if you're not an athlete, you might want to then think about doing something else. He said, you're in the wrong business. And it just made me look at myself. I've always hated working out. I've always had trouble with my weight since I was a younger kid. I played football for 5 years. And I had a really fast growth spurt in my 14th year. I grew like almost 7 inches in one summer. So I was growing so fast, I was waking up in the middle of the night with growing pains, and my weight always fluctuated. I always had trouble with my weight. And even in Saliva in the beginning, I always had a trainer. I always had somebody taking me to and from the gym, and I just hated it. I never enjoyed it and never got any joy out of it. And after I saw that interview with Taylor, I took it upon myself to go out and get my own gym membership and learn the machines myself and just learn. I just started over, man. I learned my way around the gym all over again. And me and my wife started making healthier choices and healthier decisions in our household, and making healthier decisions not only for us, but for our children, for our 3 children as well. We have a 17-year-old son and a 12-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old daughter. And we've revolutionized the way we cook and the way we think, everything we drink. We stopped drinking sugary drinks and Cokes and all that stuff. And we've just turned our diet on its ear. And I've lost almost 150 pounds. And it's just been an incredible journey, man. That's a fitness journey and weight loss journey.
That's a big number. Oh, and by the way, we literally have about a minute and a half left in the segment. I got to ask you one more time. You want to stick around for the final segment? I think this is going pretty well, but it's entirely up to you, young man.
Yeah, I'm down with the last segment, absolutely.
Hey, why not? But the mental fitness and the physical fitness is such a big deal. And for me, I got to a point and I just said, you know what? Enough of this BS. I can't do it anymore. I can't fit into my clothes. I have 3 extra chins. I don't feel good about myself. And what I'm doing is when I have a problem, I'm going to food instead of tackling my problem. And I'm mentally strong. I just wasn't strong about certain things, but you feel so much better. You breathe better. You've got some more energy and you feel great about yourself. And everybody around you says, hey, you look real good. And it's good for your brain as well as the heart as well.
Absolutely. And, without our health, none of us are doing ourselves any favors anyway, without taking care of ourselves. And, it just came down to, like you said, it came down to more of my mental health than my physical health. Right. The physical benefits were, of course, obvious. Like you said, I went from wearing a 5X to wearing an extra large.
Wow.
Yeah.
Josey.
But my mental health is so much better.
I want you to hold that thought. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about that because it's so important. Folks, don't go anywhere. Back here with the great Josey Scott of Josey Scott Saliva in just a few moments. And here's a little sample again of Hero, my favorite of all of his work.
They're watching us. They're watching us as we fly away. They're watching us.
Can't be fun at the old ballpark, friends. High pop fly. That would be a home run in a phone booth. I don't know what the big deal about Cracker Jack is. Did you ever go and buy a pack of Cracker Jack thinking you'd get a prize and find no prize in the box? Here's the pitch. That might not sound important to some people, but when you're a little kid, especially from humble origin, and they cheat you out of a prize, there's a bouncing ball. Second baseman has a Barbary over to first. It's hard to think in laudatory terms of the product.
I think that there was an occasional box of Cracker Jacks that found no prizes for the little Harry Carey many years ago.
You got that right. And boy, when a box of Cracker Jack to me meant a lot of money. Here's a pitch, bounce foul. That's the most asinine marketing I've ever heard of. 1 ball, 1 strike. These guys say, well, you sing about Cracker Jack. I said that I only sing it because it's in the song. Here's a pitch foul back. And I wouldn't be a bit surprised, even to this day, some youngsters who buy a box of Cracker Jack don't find a prize in the box. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. Well, if you're going to talk about our congressman being crooked, here's a pitch foul out of play. Why not talk about commercial products that don't do what they represent to do?
There's a smash to Squires. He's got it. 1, 2, 3, nothing across. We're going to the bottom of the 7th now to score. All tied up. Milwaukee 4, the White Sox 4. Hey! Everybody! All right, Nancy, let me hear you. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the ground. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back for its root for the White Sox. If they don't win, it's a shame. Or it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
There's a drive. Way back. It might be. It could be. And it is. Holy cow. This crowd is wild.
Hey, this is Tommy John, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV mobile studio, AAMP TV. Folks, make sure you check out thesportscircus.com for our upcoming guests, our prior guests, our recorded shows, which are our full podcast. We don't do a podcast, we do a regular TV and radio show, but we take our full file that's been chopped down to 59 minutes and 50 seconds, formatted for television and radio, and we put that out there to your favorite podcast platform. So again, make sure you check out all of our recorded shows, our upcoming guests, our prior guests, this show in particular. This is a lot of fun. I'm digging this one. And also make sure you go to our partners page and check out some of those partners that have been with us for the last 7+ years, whatever the hell it's been. One of those is the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. Check them out at csncoyotes.com for upcoming games and events. That's the College of Southern Nevada, csncoyotes.com for the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. Yes! We're going to have to put a link out there for Josey Scott and Josey Scott Saliva so you can go ahead and watch everything that he's doing on social, get his concert tickets. Who knows? There's merch coming up. You'll be able to get some of that too. And you can do some of those downloads. Welcome back, Josey Scott of Josey Scott Saliva and world fame. And this guy, man, this guy can play. This guy can sing. This guy's got a great head on his shoulders. And guess what? He's got a few tats around too. I see you got all kinds of neat stuff going on up there. What's up with that? What's your favorite one and why is it your favorite?
I have a tattoo on my neck. I don't know if you can see it, where it says the word family across my neck. And when you look at it from upside down or right side up, it says family, and it says forever if you look at it upside down. I think that one's probably my favorite one. And I have my wife's lips tattooed on the left side of my neck, and I get more compliments on that one for some reason. Everybody always thinks I have lipstick on my neck, but it's actually my wife's lips.
That's cool. Well, a lot of times, think back when we were kids, right? So maybe you would go to school and maybe you'd get that proverbial hickey on your neck, right? And people were always trying to cover it up. You can't see what's going on over here. But I mean, now it's like a trophy.
Yeah, that was a big deal when we were kids.
Right. Well, the guys were like, oh yeah, what'd you do this weekend? Well, not too much, But of course, the girls were always, trying to cover it up. Let's flip that collar up and do everything. I think that's the origin of those people that started flipping their collars up, right? Who knows? It could have been something like that.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I have no idea about it. But back to the fitness, the mental fitness and the physical fitness thing. So me, like yourself, I mean, I went through a little bit of a transformation, and because I'm getting a little older, it is what it is. I ride my bicycle every time I'm out, maybe 30, 35 miles every time I'm out. I started out just going literally around the block, but I've built myself up over time. And I always felt people said, well, I got to go to the gym. I got to do this. Well, the reality is the gym is outside, and outside is open all the time. Get your ass out there and go do something. So when people say, well, I don't have the time, make the time. Now, you know what that's all about, making the time. You got to make it for your family first, always family first, and then for your job, and then for everything else. But of course, your fitness, your mental and physical fitness is a big deal. How do you chop your day up for that? Are you at the gym every day, every other day? How does that work?
I usually, I make it, like you said, I make it a priority in my life, and I usually try to get to it at least 4 or 5 times a week. I go Monday through Thursday, and then I'll knock out a Friday or a Saturday or a Sunday somewhere in there during the week. I'll throw one of those in there to make it a full week. But I definitely get in the gym Monday through Thursday. And like you said, it's more about mental health than it is physical health, really, for me, because I've suffered from depression and anxiety my whole adult life. And truth be told, I probably suffered from it in my childhood too. I just didn't know what depression and anxiety was. But I definitely have suffered from it as an adult, and going to the gym and releasing those endorphins from working out and exercising does just a world of good for me, and I would recommend it for anybody, man. And I have an addictive personality too, so I'm a total addict when it comes to the gym. I'm a total gym rat now, as they say.
Hey, listen, it could be worse. A lot of people don't realize that when you're on a stage, I played under lights, you play under lights. There's a lot of pressure. If you don't perform at some optimal level, it's very difficult. So there's kind of a cool kinship between professional sports and the film and music world, right? And the TV world. It's very much the same. So people could kind of identify with a little bit of that, right? And if you've never been on the field or on a stage, or on the court or on a stage, or on the ice or on a stage, whatever it is, or in front of the big lights, or in front of the cameras on the big lights, it's hard to conceptualize, but the pressure is really great. It's just, how do you handle the pressure, and are you comfortable with yourself mentally and physically? I think there's a lot to say about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the world we live in, if you don't take good care of yourself, people will let you know about it, on the internet and everywhere else. And I just like being in better shape I do it, like you said, for my mental health first, and for my self-care and wellness second. And I do it for my family and for my wife and for my children. Right. Because, people say, well, I don't have time to go to the gym. Well, when you're dead, you won't have time either. But when you go to the gym and you get just a little bit healthier, not not even biting off more than you can chew, like you said, you start out a little bit at a time. Like when I first started going to the gym, I did a half a mile, and then I went back to the gym and I did 2 miles, and then I went back and I got on top of doing 2 miles, so I did 3 miles.
That's right.
And now I'm up to I do 10 miles a day, 4 days a week. I run 40 miles a week, and wow. I figure if I run 40 miles a week, I can eat. I usually eat pretty clean, but if I want to have a cookie, I have a cookie. If I want to, eat some ice cream, I eat some ice cream. But I just don't, sit down and eat the whole box of cookies, or
I do.
Eat the whole container of ice cream.
That's me. My problem is I can't grab like a couple of cookies out of the bag. I have to bring it with me. And especially if I'm watching a game, I know guys that are playing, I'm watching television, I'm like, oh no, don't do that. And I'm starting to eat them faster. That means I got to ride further. So instead of riding 35 miles, I'll ride 50 miles. The most I've ever ridden in one time was 81 miles. And that's crazy.
Oh, wow.
Whatever.
That is awesome.
It's maddening. All right, so now, listen, we've got about 3 odd minutes left. And I want to ask you this real quick because think about when you're playing in these, well, better yet, when you go to a sporting event, this one's better. When you go to a sporting event, you know your music's going to come on. Do you get up and go to the bathroom, or do you get up and jump and sing along with your music? What are you doing?
I was at my son's high school football game the other night, and Click, Click, Boom came on, and I'm that dad, man. I get up and I jump around and I'll sing along with the lyrics and the whole thing. I'm a total ham, bro.
Oh, man, I love that you do that, because there are people I know that they hear their music all the time. Like, they're hiding under their seat. They run to the bathroom. They're like, no, we don't want the camera on me. But I love the fact that you're into it. That's great stuff. Nice round of applause for that, of course. So, all right, folks, in case you don't know, Josey Scott is out there touring, Josey Scott Saliva. Make sure you check out that website. Josey, what is that website again?
The website is joseyscottrocks.com, and I encourage everybody to come out and see Josey Scott's Saliva. It's my version of all of my songs that I wrote and recorded with the guys in Saliva from the year 1996 all the way up to about the year 2011. And I just encourage everybody to come out and see. We play all the hits. We throw in some surprises for you. And it's going to be an amazing show, man.
Well, I mean, look, I've seen your show from way back in the day in 2010. And it, for me, look, I had known the music, but I haven't seen it live. And out of all the shows that day that I went to at Summerfest, now mind you, that was the same day that Eric Clapton played he played an unplugged set, but Roger Daltrey opened up for him and played a whole set of The Who.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. I mean, nobody expected that. And I went to see you guys because you guys were the night show after that, and you guys crushed it. And it wasn't because we're here talking. No, it was that way. The whole crowd was breathing. You could see it radiating and breathing. It was nuts. I'll never forget that. Out of all the concerts I've been to, and I've been to a few of them, that was a lot of fun. So, folks, if you haven't seen Josey Scott and Josey Scott Saliva, you need to get your ass out there, check the schedule, see when they're playing near you. And you know what? I think they have some downloads too, don't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're on all the streaming and downloading services, and Spotify, Apple Music, all of them. YouTube, we have a YouTube address as well. All there at joseyscottrocks.com.
That's good stuff. What's your favorite one in the last 1 minute? What's your favorite song out of everything that you can't wait to get to when you're doing a live show?
Oh, man, that's such a great question. I would have to say Your Disease, because it's the finale of the show, and I really enjoy doing Always because, it has the domestic abuse theme, and I sing it from a woman's point of view. Instead of singing it from a man's point of view, I sing it from an abused woman's point of view, so I really enjoy doing that one too. I enjoy all of them, Sal. I really do enjoy all of the songs. They're all my babies. I can't love one more than the other.
Well, come on now. And look, I know this and you know this. A lot of parents, I'm not saying you, but a lot of parents happen to have what? They happen to have a favorite, but they never say they have a favorite. That's the thing that drives me nuts. I even confronted my mother on that one time. She's like, oh, we don't have a favorite. We never had a favorite. Yes, you do. Now, I'm not saying that you do. But anyway, Josey, of course, always a pleasure having you here on the Sports Circus. And needless to say, buddy, you got an open door. Whenever you want to come back, give me a little bit of lead time. We'll bring you back. We'll feature your content. We'll feature you. This has been a lot of fun, and I'm sure the audience has had a great time, and they will be replaying this episode as well. You know why? Just because they can. And folks, in case you don't know what this gentleman's talking about, here's a little taste of it, and we're out of here. Just enjoy.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average and best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. Or make your selection directly at UpperCutChops.com.